So many are suffering out in the Los Angeles area with these devastating fires, the blame game, all of it. But there's real people here, real people who are struggling because of it. Black elder who looked after community loses everything in LA fire. Community of Los Angeles rallying behind an 83-year-old man. His name is Walt Butler. After he lost his home to the Los Angeles wildfires. Watch.
What did you love and lose in the fire?
I lost everything. I'm a guy with everything to nothing. I spent my whole life helping people. And I didn't think it would happen to me, but it did. But I have my health and my life. About 10 or 12 years ago, I was going home, going up late, and I see this person sitting on the bench shaking, which I knew him anyway, because I coached him when he was in high school. He says, "Where's your jacket?" He says, "Coach, I don't have one." I said, "Okay, put that." I ended up giving all of my jackets away. A lot of people helped me when I was a kid, so that makes a difference. Knocked down before, but not like this. Times are tough, but I'm not giving up.
How can you hear that and not fall for Walt Butler? I love him. His spirit, I feel for, I mean, it's not easy, even for a man who believes and is the essence of resilience. Wow. According to NBC News, Mr. Butler ran a shoe store, helped support young athletes in the area, having retired from his own athletic stardom as a track and field star back in the day. He told at Make Big Talk in a video that he was always one to give what he had to those who needed it, whether it was giving the former high school student a jacket or the kids who came by his store without money, a pair of shoes. I want to thank The Root for giving us the details here. Butler's Altadena home of 60 years and dazzling Corvette Stingray returned to ash. Times are tough, but I'm not giving up, he said in that video. In the same spirit to NBC, he said, "The big guy has been looking out for me. It's easy to die, and living wasn't meant to be easy." Here's somebody who's not just saying things. We can tell by the chronicling of the way Mr. Butler lives his life. He actually believes this. What a great guy. Since his heartfelt testimony went viral, his children organized a GoFundMe to help Butler secure temporary housing and rebuild his home, which has now surpassed its goal of $250,000, reaching over $880,000 in donations. I love it. Good for him. That's not even why he shared the story, is it? He did it because he believes it. Thank you for helping us restore hope for a man who has given so much to so many. Together, we can help Walt rebuild his life and continue his incredible legacy in our community. The donation post said, "I love this, and I love him, and I love that people in the community are coming together even at this difficult time, probably from around the world, to help Mr. Butler. He deserves this love, appreciation, the community wrapping their arms around him as the politicians bicker and the firefighters work to try to keep this thing from getting any worse and the Santa Ana winds kick up again." What's your reaction to Mr. Butler, his life, and the reaction to his story?
Yeah, to your point, it is really sad that whenever a big tragedy like what we're seeing happening in LA happens, the people who are supposed to be taking care of these communities and looking out for these communities are the ones who are bickering and arguing about who started it and who's to blame and all these things that don't actually matter, at least not right now, because right now the priority should be on containing the flames as much as it's possible right now, given the winds, but also helping out the people who are in the path of danger, people who have already suffered at the hands of these fires, and helping to rebuild those communities, or at least getting a plan in place to do that. So, I love that someone who has given so much of his community is finally getting back something good for it, though, because these individual stories really drive home how much individual people are suffering because of what's going on over there. We keep hearing numbers about how many tens of thousands of acres of land have been burned through because of these fires already. We keep hearing numbers about how much money has gone up in flames, right? How much value, property value has gone up in flames. We keep hearing about people who have been evacuated, people who have lost their lives to it. These individual stories, though, they really help to remind people that these are people, right? These are actual people who are suffering. They're not just numbers. These are people who have lives, who have families, who have lived their lives and worked so hard for their entire lives to have what they have, and they have lost it all within a flash. But I love that he's getting something back for it. These things happen. He had to suffer a lot before he was able to reap these benefits that he's getting now. All we can hope for is that when these bad things do happen, that the people in our lives and our communities will be there for us and support us. And it seems like he is getting that. And something else that stood out to me was that I think you actually mentioned this, that he wasn't doing his charity performatively, right? He was giving in a way that directly benefited the people in his community. I'm so glad that we're covering this story also and giving him more publicity, because let's be real, unfortunately, it is a rare thing where we get to uplift people on shows like this one. So I'm glad we are.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're again just a mirror. We have to bring you some of the news where people are behaving badly. But Mr. Butler is the opposite of that, and I agree. Let's share more stories about real people who are helping other real people instead of just using this enormous tragedy that's still going on out west as talking points and policy positions to fight with one another, or have some dingy blonde lady, MTG, talk about how one party's manipulating the weather and cloud seeding. We can listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene and her nonsense, or we can embody and listen and lift up Mr. Butler. Walter Butler is my choice. Just me.